Hello there, everyone. This is Guns Guntaku on YouTube, and today we got something wonderful for you. We're going to give you a review of the Alienware AW3821DW. And if that isn't a mouthful, then the next monitor that competes with it will be. This monitor, actually, we're going to do a more concise, to the point review of this monitor because I'm sure everyone's already gone around, looked at everything, and comparatively the frequency, the other stuff, and they really just want a Joe Blow opinion of this monitor. Personally, I've been gaming on this monitor for about 2 months now, maybe more, since I moved into this house, and I will say this monitor is geared towards the content creator and who also wants to game as well, like typically any other ultra wide. It is also, in my opinion, a little bit expensive because if you look at the price of this monitor now on Dell, which is where the only place I can see where you can buy it is Dell directly. God help us all, is around 1,400 plus. I personally bought this monitor for $1,336.80 something cents, almost leaked. And that's only two. But the good news is that's only 2/3 the price of a 3080 goes for now. So you only have to sell 2/3 of your firstborn, which is good because you can use the other 1/3 of that firstborn to power your 980 Ti just a little bit longer, so that way you could survive. But let's get right down to it. The GPU I would recommend for this monitor is particularly the 3080. I have a 3080 and it works great. God help us if you can afford get a 3080. I was lucky to get one at retail price. At a minimum, you could probably run this monitor with a 2080 Ti or maybe a 2070 Super, but I honestly wouldn't go that low. I would stick towards a 2080 Ti or above in terms of power of this monitor. It's really, really great. The colors are bright. It's got HDR, but it's not like the best HDR in the world. There are definitely better HDR monitors in smaller form factor, and I'm sure someone else could come. That is one disappointing thing about this monitor is you pay a big premium for this monitor, but it doesn't have mind-blowing HDR. And the whole point of the HDR is not a lot of games and other videos support it, but it'd be nice to have because when you buy this monitor, you're not paying $1,400 plus for this monitor just to be a sit here and then replace it in 2 years. That doesn't make any sense. You buy a monitor for it to at least last between 5 to 8 years. It should last between 2, maybe even 3 gaming systems. So that way you can get the most joy out of it until it finally fails or you find a replacement for it. It is geared towards the content creator because of its large size. It is the same 21:9 ratio as other monitors in 34-inch form factor, but because of that extra pixel size where it's basically 1440p plus, like basically the in-between, it's basically like 4K with like a little bit of the top and bottom cut off. It bridges that gap between 4K and 1440p a little bit with that 1600 range, but it's the same image but stretched in a good way to where it's not. It's where you basically the same thing as if you laid like gamers who like put a TV as their display monitor. The problem with like putting a TV is that you'll be stretching your neck everywhere to look at all the IO and all the other, or not the IO, but all like your ammo and stuff. So do I have enough ammo left? Oh! Like you'll break your fucking neck looking. This one, I don't have to break my neck. My eyes could go everywhere. It's the perfect size where I feel that it's big, that I feel more immersed, but I'm not breaking my neck while using it. So that's my biggest thing. Its largest competitor, I would say, is the same monitor that Jace 2 Cents reviewed. I'm just reading my notes here. It was the LG 38GL950G-B. It's also a G-Sync monitor. I think this one's G-Sync Ultimate. The LG, I can't remember if it's G-Sync Ultimate or just regular G-Sync, but I think that's just a firmware update if you have to do that. But overall, this is a really great monitor. I'll probably splash in some images of the static image of it and B-roll type stuff. But my biggest complaint about the monitor for me is that it's a very large form factor. If I did not have the desk space for this monitor, it would be too big to use on typical desks. So you got to at least have a wide desk like I have. I think the computer stand is a little bit too big. But most people who buy this monitor, I'll be honest with you, aren't going to be using the stand. They're probably going to be using it with an arm because they are content creators and they want to be able to move that out of the way. And maybe they're a graphics designer or something like that. They need to move the monitor out of the way while they're designing stuff. Other things, the cable management on it, the back panel. You have an extra back panel that'll cover the back. I don't use that. It's, in my opinion, a waste of plastic, because sometimes you have to get back there because you'd have to remove it in order to get to the cables. But if you're never going to be moving the cables again, then I would leave that on there because it looks better, but I personally can't see it. Also, the cable management for the hole. I have more wires going through because of my streaming setup, and I'm limited by how much I can feed through that hole. It's very difficult. So you're going to be taking some time managing that, because you want to use that cable management hole in the back so it all runs at the back, so that way you can't see it and it looks nicer. So those are my biggest complaints on it. Would I recommend this monitor? Yes, I would recommend this monitor if you can afford it. But also, like, people who are right now in today's world, like, they're trying to afford a GPU today. So honestly, I would put your more money towards your GPU budget than I would this. At the time, though, I already had my GPU. I bought this monitor after the fact, and I just wanted a bigger monitor, because the problem with my original 34-inch ultra-wide Alienware was it was limited by its refresh rate, and it also felt a little bit tinier. I mean, even Jay's 2 Cents talks about in his video of the 38-inch. When you get used to it, but like when you first switch to a 34-inch ultra wide, it feels like you're looking through a periscope because it's smaller. With this one, it's wider up top and bottom, so it feels like a traditional monitor just with extra real estate. If someone was like upgrading from a traditional monitor like this one right over here to this one, it would be like night and day to some people, because it's like, oh my god, look at all this space, because you're basically getting the same functionality of two monitors without any bezels with this ultra wide, just like any other 34-inch ultra wide, but with that periscoping thing. But for someone like me, who's a guy who already had an ultra wide 34-inch, it's not that big of a jump. And in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have, but I do enjoy this monitor. I just had the money at the time and I want to buy it. So that's who this is geared to. It's geared to the person who has the money to afford it, who wants something like this. And honestly, right now, this is the best bang for buck of these 38-inch ultra wides because of all the functionality of it, the I/O of it, and also just the basic profile of it. It looks really good. It's like looking at a really nice car. The back side of it looks amazing. While if you're looking for a more sleeker, more simpler curved monitor, I would go with the LG, but you're going to be spending an extra $200 on it because it's $15.99 on LG, while this one's only like $14.50 on Dell. So you're going to be spending an extra few bones for the LG just to have that smaller profile, but the same probable image quality, I would guess. But personally, I like this one. It's white. It goes good with my setup, and that's basically the review for you guys. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'll throw in some video probably of this video that's playing just to show you while I'm talking. And that should be it. So as always, live good, Tuck. Be good, Tuck. See you later.